We're here with Zach Lautenschlager, the Vice President of the National Association for Gun Rights, in front of the New Hampshire State Capitol on beautiful February 1st of 2017. And your organization is the second largest pro-right to keep and bear arms. I hate to say Second Amendment because the Second Amendment didn't give us that right. It just protects that right.
Guarantees it.
Now, your organization has also come out strongly against this Article 5 convention, which is sort of making its rounds around the country again. Can you discuss just in a few minutes why your organization is opposed to this and how does it affect or could it affect gun owners?
Sure. Constitutional convention is the concept of opening up the Constitution for amendments once again. It is a very dangerous concept. It is one that the founders placed in the Constitution as a means of last resort, and they were very clear in their original intent that holding one is a very dangerous proposition. It was Benjamin Franklin himself who said, "I do not recommend holding a second convention." The first one was a miracle.
And James Madison also had strong...
That's correct. Many others did as well. Here's the question for those who support the convention, and I differ with many of my conservative friends who believe that we need to do this to rein in the federal government. I couldn't agree more. That reining in the federal government is necessary. But why do we think that a bunch of politicians, bureaucrats, and judges who do not currently obey the Constitution will do so if we change it? That's the question that no one can answer. It's because we know they won't, not until we force them.
That's
so
right.
Even if we go through all this work, let's say we're successful, let's say we're actually able to amend the Constitution in a way that does not damage it, because we all know that once it's open, the left is thirsting to remove the Second Amendment. That's what they're after. But let's say we could overcome all of that, and let's say, just for the sake of argument, it's not possible, but let's say that we can guarantee nothing bad will happen. We'll amend the Constitution with some of the good things that people are proposing. What will we have to do then? Exactly what we'd have to do right now. Enforce it.
Enforce it.
We don't need it in the Constitution. That was Madison's point. James Madison himself was opposed to the idea of enumerating all of this. Now, I'm very glad we have the 10 amendments that we do. But everyone agreed that's about what you need. The rest of it, it is a specifically, unless the federal government has the power to take that action, they are prohibited. The 10th Amendment is what we need, and it needs to be enforced.
That's right, that's right. And the necessary and proper clause, too. And the idea that Congress will have no say in this Article 5 convention is...
Well, that's laughable. It says, Article 5 itself says that Congress shall issue the call upon the request of the states.
That's right.
Congress, there are so many smart people who cannot read the Constitution and are confused by a single comma.
And
but that comma makes it perfectly clear.
In Article 5 in itself does not limit it to one issue.
No.
So the argument is, well, they would never repeal the Second Amendment. My concern isn't a repeal, but it's sort of a bit of a change. And there was a retired justice, I can't remember his name. He's advocating we put in the Second Amendment, we just add 5 words, while serving in the militia, or something to that effect. You know.
Right, so, which would be devastating. You might as well repeal it.
And how many folks with your worldview or my worldview will represent us at this convention?
Here's the problem. One of the biggest proponents of the Constitutional Convention under Article 5 is extreme leftist law professor Lawrence Lessig.
Larry Lessig, yes.
Larry Lessig is a radical, fire-breathing communist.
That's right.
I will say it. And his backers are George Soros and Hillary Clinton. These are the people who are openly saying, yes, let's have a Constitution. Let's go. Now, many of my conservative friends, I love and respect many of the men and women who are supporting an Article.
And most of them are good guys, like Dan Itza, who actually sponsored a resolution here. He's also sponsoring the SB 12. So,
and especially in the state legislatures, it's many of our friends who are supporting both of them. Many of them are beginning to see. I can go through a litany in Texas and South Dakota, Missouri, in South Carolina, and on. People who have seen the light, legislators who have seen the light.
I know we've actually killed a few just in the last week or so.
Absolutely.
I think, was it Wyoming?
Wyoming passed.
Virginia.
Virginia just died today.
Yeah, so some good things happen. Well, how can people get a hold of you? They're interested in learning more about your organization.
NationalGunRights.org. NationalGunRights.org.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.